Welcome back to the Aspin Shed. I've got something a little bit more different for you today. It's a little story. Are we sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. This is a story about some Canon DSLR cameras that I've bought. Mainly, well, all of them in fact were sold faulty, and what intrigues me is being able to fix them. Several years ago I bought my first, and here's a picture of it. That was my first venture into cameras or repairing cameras. That was a Canon EOS 1200D. I think it was 18 megapixel. In fact, this is the camera here. It's been a smashing little camera. It's got a large LCD on the back and all the other Canon features through the lens. Works perfectly, and recently, as I say, it was sold as spares or repairs, as faulty. I cannot for the life of me remember what I did to get it going again, but it's never missed a beat. Only taken 2,079 photographs. Hardly used. Anyway, at the time I was playing about with my YouTube channel and using the movie camera I've got. But I'd seen other people using these EOS cameras, especially ones with the flip out screen that you could reverse and view yourself vlogging, as I do professionally for a living. Don't. But you couldn't do it with this camera because it's got a fixed LCD. So I bought my first EOS 70D cameras, and I'll give you a picture of it now. And as you can see, it is in some disrepair. The upshot was I never got that going, and I think it must be 4 or 5 years ago I started messing about with these cameras, and as you know, subsequently I've moved, but nevertheless I couldn't do anything with it, and when I dismantled it I found that it had been waterlogged. So I really gave up on that one, and I bought another faulty, not working EOS, which is, I'll have to put a picture in of that one. Well, better than a picture, here's the actual camera, and it's as clean as a whistle. In fact, now I've got it running, I checked the frame count and it's only done 7,000 pictures. And if you see the frame count on advertised EOS 70Ds, 50,000, 60,000 seems to be about the norm. So again, a very low use camera. And when I got it, it was not working. I dismantled it, and I came to the conclusion that it was in fact the motherboard, after googling and fiddling and faddling. Anyway, I could buy a new motherboard from China from about £114 to about £200. Anyway, I bought a £114 one. It was supposed to be a new board for this. It was identical. When it arrived, I checked it against the original, component for component. It was identical, fitted straight in, and it didn't work. Never came on. I never had a peep out of it. Put the original board back, still no peep, nothing. So I give up, and I had a few years off cameras. Anyway, a few weeks ago I pulled my box of bits out like the one you saw, and I started looking again. Now this was so clean. I know virtually nothing about cameras, but when I examined the bottom, there are screws missing on this one, but when I got it, everything was in place. When I took the back off it to examine the motherboard, all the screws were in place. Nothing drew my attention to anybody being in there. You know, the screws didn't look like they had a screwdriver in them, so I took it that it hadn't been opened. I tried a BIOS battery. I tried all sorts. So I'd given up on it. Anyway, the other day when I came to play with it, I started to dismantle it further, and I took the front cover off and I took the top cover off. And having taken the top cover off, just underneath this little LCD here is the power board, and I nearly fell off my chair. The two screws that were supposed to retain it weren't there. It was flopping around in the breeze. So every time I tried putting a battery in it, all that was happening is when I pushed the battery in and it went in, it lifted the power board, so it never connected. It never connected to the motherboard. You know, it never powered up. It never got any power. I've even got an external power supply for these, and I got nothing out of it. Anyway, once I'd secured the power board and put it back together, I put my external power supply to supply the dummy battery that fits these to give external power, and immediately I was getting a milliamp reading on my power supply. When I switched it on, it would go up to how many milliamps? 20 milliamps, and then back down to 2, where it had never shown a what's the name blow on a bugle before. So I thought, I'm on the right track, I'm getting somewhere. And the other thing that was happening was when I was switching it on, I was getting the little battery icon, but it was empty. Nothing else. There was nothing else on the display, just the battery icon, empty. So I then connected the external power supply to the power pack that came with it, and lo and behold, it came on. I put a lens on it, it took pictures, and then I opened the back door to have a look at the LCD, and when I pressed the menu button, the LCD on here went blank, but I never got the picture on there, so I couldn't set the camera up. And though I tried a different LCD off the other camera I'd got, and I tried everything I could think of to get it to light up, after numerous searches I found one post that said it's a motherboard problem. So I went, oh, I have a new motherboard. So I put that in, and it was dead as a dodo. No signs of life whatsoever. So this camera works. I did set it up. I put an external monitor on the HDMI outlet, and using the multifunction wheel was able to navigate the setup and set the thing up, and it took pictures. It wrote to the card. Any pictures you took through the viewfinder was perfect. The only option you didn't have, which I wanted, was the rear view screen. So I started to search for more damaged spares or repairs EOS 70Ds, and I found another one. I probably paid too much for it, but it was sold spares or repairs. It'd take one picture and then it would throw up error, I think it was error 30, and it was a problem with the shutter, and you could reset the camera by taking the battery out and firing it back up, and it would take one more picture and it would come up error 30 every time. No, you couldn't take any more pictures, that was it. But the rear screen, everything else worked. So I did my normal thing. I played around with it, and I got it that it would take pictures. And I played around with it that much that now it takes perfect pictures, one after the other, and except for the very occasional thing, it throws up error 30, but instead of having to reset the whole camera, you just depress the shutter button slightly for a second and it clears the error and it starts taking pictures again. But that's very infrequent. So I couldn't take the motherboard out of that to repair this. So I had another look for a spares repair, and I found another camera. Just pause 1 second while I find it. This is it. Completely different to the other EOS 70D, I don't think. Anyway, the problem with this one, as advertised, spares repair, was it said it had been dropped. But on the pictures supplied, as with the other one, the rear screen was active. So I thought, well, I can take the motherboard out of this one and repair this one. Because this, well, as I say, this one had only done 700 shots, the motherboard on that. So if we replace it with another one, it's going to be more shots, isn't it? It says it's got. Anyway, this one arrived, and it's got a little scuff. I don't know if you can just see that little scuff there by the on the handle, and the dial indicator, this piece of the top part that shows you what position the dial is in, that was missing. And I got another one of them, hadn't I? So I put that on, and the other problem was the scrolling button on the back was intermittent and faulty, which it did say in the description. But I got another one, hadn't I? So I put it in. So now I've got another fully working camera, and still haven't got a motherboard for this one. So that's my adventures so far. I don't think I'm going to bore you with any more, but suffice it to say, I've got two fully working 70Ds. I've got one that takes pictures perfectly, and I've got one which is an absolute basket case. So I'm still on the hunt for a motherboard. If I find one, I'll be back, and I can bore you some more with another little story. Bye for now.